Have you ever wondered what's happening all over the world at the exact same moment? What if you could just hit pause and take a look? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're taking a global snapshot of one single day, October 31st, 2025, to see the major events shaping our world, from international security all the way to cultural celebrations. So here's what's on deck. First, we'll dive into the high-stakes world of global security. Then, we're going to check the pulse of India's powerful economy. After that, we'll shift gears to celebrate some pretty amazing moments in culture and sports. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at a day dedicated to national unity. Ready? Let's jump in. All right, first up, security. We're looking at how nations are trying to keep us safe, not just in the physical world, but in the digital one too. On the high seas and online. And the challenges? They're huge, but the responses are just as ambitious.
I mean, think about it. It's a question that has puzzled governments for decades. In our digital world, a criminal doesn't need a passport. They can be anywhere, and their victims can be everywhere. So how do you even begin to tackle a problem like that?
Well, it turns out the only way to fight a problem with no borders is to create a solution with no borders. And on this day in Hanoi, Vietnam, something truly historic happened. 72 nations, that's right, 72, came together to sign a landmark agreement. They decided to create a single, united front against this massive global threat. And believe me, this convention is a huge deal. It's not just some symbolic gesture. We're talking about the first ever global legal framework for fighting cybercrime. It took 5 long years of tough negotiations to get here, but now there's a unified system for countries to work together on everything from preventing attacks to actually prosecuting the criminals behind them. But of course, security isn't just about bits and bytes. So, at the very same time nations were building digital firewalls, India was busy reinforcing its physical defenses, specifically its power at sea. And this marked another major security development for the day. Now, this is really interesting. We're seeing a huge shift in how India handles its defense manufacturing. You've got the country's top public shipyard, Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders, teaming up with a private company, Swan Defense. And their mission? To build these incredible advanced warships called landing platform docks. Think of them like floating military bases. This kind of public-private teamwork is a real game changer, designed to speed things up and inject some private sector innovation into building up India's naval might. And if you want to understand just how big this ambition is, you just have to look at the price tag. The whole project is estimated to cost a staggering 33,000 crore rupees. This is so much more than just building a couple of ships. It is a massive national investment to secure India's future on the seas. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. From defense, we're moving on to the economy. We're about to zoom in on the twin engines that power India, its industries and its farms. So these numbers from September 2025 basically give us a checkup on India's economic health, and it's looking pretty strong. Overall, industrial production grew by a solid 4%, which is great. But the real star of the show here was manufacturing, jumping up by 4.8%. It's a clear sign that the country's big industrial initiatives are really paying off. But look, a country's economy isn't just forged in factories, right? It's also grown out in the fields. And on this very day, some major moves were being made to support India's absolutely massive agricultural sector. The government rolled out what was basically a 1-2 punch to help its farmers. First, a brand new high-tech plant was opened to make sure farmers could get their hands on top-quality seeds. Better seeds mean better crops, simple as that. And second, crucial subsidies were approved to make fertilizers cheaper, which directly helps the farmer's bottom line, right before the super important winter planting season.
All right, enough about economics. Let's get to the human side of things. This next part is all about celebrating some amazing, lasting legacies in the worlds of culture and sport.
These words just perfectly capture the feeling of a special event that took place in Beijing. A beautiful bronze statue of Rabindranath Tagore, a Nobel Prize winner and one of India's most beloved poets, was unveiled at the Indian Embassy. It's just this really powerful symbol of the incredible cultural bond between two of the world's oldest civilizations. Okay, so before we jump to our next story, we need to quickly talk about what a knighthood actually is. Basically, it's the highest civilian honor you can get in Britain. It's given by the monarch for an absolutely outstanding contribution to the nation in pretty much any field: arts, science, sports, you name it. And on October 31st, that incredible honor went to a true living legend of the game of cricket.
At the historic Windsor Castle, the phenomenal fast bowler James Anderson was officially knighted for his services to the sport. He is now, forever, Sir James Anderson.
So what makes him so legendary? Well, a lot of things, but it really boils down to this number, 188. That is the world record number of test matches he played. To give you some perspective, that's a career spanning 21 years, playing at the absolute highest level of a physically demanding sport. That kind of longevity it's almost unheard of, truly amazing. And that brings us to our final section, an event that, in many ways, ties a nation of over 1 billion people together, because on October 31st, India celebrates National Unity Day.
This day is all about honoring the birth anniversary of this man, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He's known as the Iron Man of India for very good reason. After independence, he had the monumental task of integrating hundreds of separate princely states into the single unified nation that India is today.
The day itself was started back in 2014, and it's much more than just a history lesson. It's really an active effort to remind everyone of the values Patel stood for: unity, integrity, and security. It's all about strengthening that core idea that India is at its absolute best when it stands together as one. So as we look back on this one single day, from global cybercrime treaties and new warships to economic reports and cultural honors, it kind of leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? In a world that's just buzzing with so many different complex stories, what are the things, the common threads, the big ideas, the legacies that actually manage to bring us all together?